Good morning, YouTube. Today we're going to plant some strawberries in a laundry basket. Yeah, Princess Pookie sent me a picture. She wanted to give it a try, and so found a laundry basket, and you'll hear about it in the video, but found a laundry basket, and we got strawberries planted in a laundry basket. Hello again, guys. Today we got a project, and I know it's the end of May, just before Memorial Day weekend. It's a little late to be planting strawberries, but the wife saw this on Facebook or somewhere, sent me this picture. Well, she wanted to give it a try. Well, I spent a couple of weeks here looking for strawberry plants, and wasn't a lot to be found. Local co-op was out, a couple other places I checked. Anyway, I was over at Woods the other day, and I found a container of strawberry plants. And they're not too bad looking. Two plants to a tub. So I bought them, and we're gonna plant them. Okay, this planter is made out of a laundry basket. And now I got to tell you the story about this. My wife sent me the picture, and she said, "Ooh, don't this look cool?" And I said, "Well, yeah, it looks cool. That's a neat way to plant strawberries, because you just plant them through these little holes, and they kind of hang instead of being a bed in the ground or a raised bed in the yard or something." And I said, "Well, that is kind of cool, and you could kind of move that around if you needed to, and lots of things going on with that." So anyway, she said, "Well, I'd like to have one of those." Well, the next day, I was in town. I had run by the dollar store. And guess what was sitting on the end cap right by where I had to go? This laundry basket. So, came in, figured it was a sign. I was thinking we'd put this off till next year. But anyway, we decided, I bought the basket, $8 at the dollar store. And so, got all the stuff together, finally found strawberries. And so now we're going to plant strawberries. All right. The first thing we got to do, and I've checked this on YouTube and stuff, and there's some suggestions to do and not to do, and then some people that have changed their mind about different things. Well, I'm going to start out with the way it says to do it, and then if I need to change some things later, I'll change some things later. But what you do is you take your basket, and we're going to put a liner in it. Now, some places I saw them putting burlap in, and I saw them putting burlap in, saying it was a natural product and all of that good stuff. And then another guy was putting weed blocker in around his, said it allowed the soil to breathe. And other people, and most of the people I saw, were just using a big black trash bag. And I've been to several pick-your-own commercial strawberry farms, and they've got them planted in rows out there. And you know what? Those rows are usually covered with just black plastic to keep the weeds down and to keep the plants keep the fruit off the ground. So black plastic's cheap. Got trash bags, so we're going to use a trash bag. We're going to drop it down in, fit it over. We don't want a whole lot of wrinkles in it. I got a big trash bag, fits in a 55-gallon drum, so that it would be plenty big, and it's heavy duty, so that's also a plus. Get it all opened up there and down to the bottom. Okay. And then Now, I'm not sponsored by Atwoods where I bought the strawberry plants, nor am I sponsored by any of these products that I use. So this is what I'm using because this is what I've got available and what I think is best and what I've used in the past. So don't think I'm endorsing any products or telling you need to go shop anywhere. So we're gonna open up our soil here, and we're gonna put a little soil in the bottom of this. Now that's gonna help pull our bag straight and get our sides a little straighter and give us something to work on with. We're gonna wanna push the soil around and pack it down a little bit. And then at this point, before we get anything else going, I'm gonna turn this up a little bit. And I'm gonna take my knife and I'm gonna put me some holes in the bottom of this to help drain the excess water out, because I don't want it to just sit in water in this bag, and it will up to where the last plant is, and that way it'll flood the last plant. So we're gonna put a couple of relief holes in the bottom to let the water out. And by doing that, after I put that first little batch of soil in there, I get the plastic bag down in there the way it's going to be, and those holes go through the same spot in the plastic bag so that I get the full drainage. Otherwise, if I cut the holes or drilled the holes and then put the bag in, then the bag covers the holes, and that doesn't help me a whole lot. So if you do the holes first, be sure you go back and make holes in your bag if you're using plastic, to make sure that the water has a way to get out at the bottom. Also, whenever I'm done, I'll probably cut a few slits in this last row that I'm not going to plant any plants in, just to take care of a big rain or an extra amount of water that we might have. So now the next step, I've gone down in the bottom and I've kind of cleaned it out, and I've cleaned out a hole in the middle because I've got this irrigation pipe, just a 2-inch piece of PVC, and I've drilled holes in it around in varying places to help distribute the water down the center of the tube. Now this is one of those things that some people said, once I got to it I really didn't need it, but I'm gonna try it to start with. If I need to take it out, it's not gonna be hard to take out. Anyway, I'm gonna get a measurement here in just a second, but first I'm gonna show you what it looks like down in the bottom of this hole. Okay, tilted that camera down just a little bit so you can see the top of this bag. Anyway, I drilled these holes 2 feet up on the pipe because I'd measured the depth of the basket to start with. That'll get me holes all the way up to the top level whenever the basket gets full of strawberries in a couple of years. All right, so anyway, now I'm gonna take a look at this and try to get me a good idea. I want this to cut just a little bit above that, so I'm looking at about 4 to 6 inches above my last hole is where I'm gonna cut that off. And I got my saw right here, and we're gonna give her a cut. Now, this don't have to be exact, and well, I'm a farmer, and let me tell you something. If OSHA watches this, I'm in trouble. So I'm not following all the safety rules and regulations, but we're gonna cut the end of this pipe off and move on with the project. and that got her pipe cut off there about 4 to 6 inches above the last hole. Now, you want to be sure and clean them burrs out because you don't want them down in your water too much. Look down in your pipe and be sure it's fairly clean. It's just a watering pipe, so it's not that big of a deal. Anyway, this is an old compression sock that I got. Torn a hole in it, so it doesn't work as good as it used to, and it kind of doesn't feel real comfortable when you wear it. If you wear compression stockings, you know about that. Anyway, I'm going to use this as a liner around my pipe because it's just about the right length to cover all my holes, and it will keep the dirt from getting into my pipe and clogging up my pipe and allow my pipe to pour the water in there and the water to disperse. It'll disperse right through the sock, but hopefully the dirt won't get back into my pipe. So use what you got, right? So now the pipe goes back in here, and then we want to pull some dirt up around it to kind of hold it in place there while we continue to put the dirt around. I've also got a cap put on the top of it to keep junk and bugs and stuff from getting down in the water after it's filled, and the cap will come off and on without any problems. All right, so now I've got this done, so now I'm going to continue filling, and about every 8 to 10 inches I'm going to stop and I'm going to compress the dirt. And the reason for that is the dirt will naturally compress over time as rain and water and stuff gets in it. Dirt settles. I mean, it just settles naturally, and we don't want it to pull the roots down, so don't want to pull the roots down and pull the plants into the basket as the dirt settles. So I'm going to pack the dirt as I go, as I come up to the top. And then when I plant the plants, I'm going to cut a slit in the plastic, and I'm going to poke my hole up at about a 45-degree angle and put my roots up at a little bit of an angle, so as they settle, they will settle more straight out instead of pulling the plant down by pointing it down. These are just things I figured out on my own, so if it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, we'll replant them again next year, I guess. All right, so we're going to add some more dirt. All right, well, I'm full of soil. I got about 1.5 inches, 2 inches around the lowest part of the rim here. Wife's probably gonna plant some flowers in the top. That gives us a little room to work with. And of course, as always, if you need to add soil, you can add soil later. Anyway, gonna take the top of my sock here and just kind of push it down. It's got the holes good and covered. I'm not gonna try to cut it off at all, but I am gonna take a minute and pull this plastic bag up and cut it just around the top of the lip. So a little flap up is not going to be a problem, but I obviously don't want the plastic covering all the way down to the bottom. So I'm going to set this up here, and then we'll do that trim, and then we'll be ready to plant some strawberries. So now I got my basket up here where we can see it and where it'll be easier to plant these strawberries as we go. I'm going to take and kind of pull some tension on my plastic to get it all in good. Some of my blue tape markers have fallen off, but I know the pattern I want to use, so it shouldn't be too hard to follow still. And then I'm going to pull all this together up here just above the pipe, and I'm just going to take my knife and I'm going to cut that off. I can trim it better and evener with a pair of scissors later, but this will get me cut off so I can plant my strawberries. Now, I'll just set that down while we finish this up. I'm gonna go ahead and take my cap, put it on top of my pipe there so you can see what that'll look like, and that cap will just come off and on as we need to water. Okay, so now we're ready to start planting our plants. I've kind of laid out my pattern here. I've got 8 pots, 2 plants to a pot, so I'm going to have 16 strawberry plants to plant. Already got blooms on some of them, so hopefully we'll have some fruit before long. But I've kind of done this where I've skipped a hole and a row between each plant. So I'm offset. I've got a plant here, and then I skip a hole and a plant here, and I skip a row and a plant here in between those two to give them room to grow. And then next year when they start adding on, propagating, I'll punch another hole in and put that plant in there so that I'll kind of fill this up. I'll probably trim some of those off and move them to the other side. Right now with just 16 plants, I'm gonna put them all on this one side. So here we go with the planting. Now to plant these, I'm just gonna take my pocket knife, and yeah, I'll have to sharpen it after cutting all the plastic and doing all this stuff. But I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna punch me a hole right there where my blue tape is, and I'm gonna turn it up at about a 45-degree angle, or at least at somewhat of an up angle, to make me a hole there with my knife. I'm gonna lay it here safely out of the way. Then I'm gonna take my plants and I'm gonna go in here and see if I can get a hold of this without too much trouble. These are those plantable pots, so the roots have kind of grown into them because, like I said, they're kind of late season. But anyway, take that, and then I'm going to stick those roots in, and I want to go in, but I don't want to go too far in because I want my plant to keep growing out here like it is. So anyway, there's my first strawberry plant in my planter. So I'm gonna keep going around and we'll get them all planted here. And there we go. We got 16 strawberry plants in a laundry basket. Well, I never thought I'd be planting food in a laundry basket, but we'll give her a shot and see what happens. I'll post up a pic when I get it set in the garden over here and kind of show you what it looks like after I get it set and get it watered in. And then after we trim the top off and get some flowers put in it. I think it's going to look great, and hopefully it's going to produce us a little fruit. Thank you. Well, YouTube, welcome back to the porch. Yeah, that was a pretty hot job and dirty job, and getting all that dirt and getting all them strawberries in that basket. But turned out looking pretty good, and I look forward to seeing what we can get done this year. Hoping maybe, even though we're a little late in the season, we can get some strawberries off of that. We'll keep you updated with what's going on in the garden. We'll take a tour of the garden here in a day or two, just so I can show you kind of what we got going on, where we started at. Our garden's done real well, and so I'm hoping these strawberries will do just as well. So thanks for joining me here on the porch.